Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Kentucky health experts warn people about a new drug causing overdoses here in eastern Kentucky. And a local college offers up a new program that could lead to free tuition for the students in our region.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Chas Gayhart. It is 6 o'clock on Friday, March 4th. Let's go over and check in with Brandon on what's going to turn out to be a nice weekend.
At least, well, you know what? It'll be a nice feeling weekend all the way through. It just may not be a nice looking weekend all the way through. But first couple of days we'll take. Let's see what's going on this morning. And it's a little bit chilly out there. The Jenkins camera back online for the first time in a while this morning. US 119, US 23 going into Southwest Virginia, going up the hill there. You can see traffic moving along pretty well there this morning. Temperatures in the 30s for the most part there. 30 in Ashland. I'd say they'll drop into the upper 20s here pretty soon, like Irvin at 27, 32 Wise, Prestonsburg, Pikeville, and over toward Logan there. Also 32 in Moorhead as well this morning. So look at the temperature change from this time yesterday. 25 degrees colder in Pikeville and Middlesboro, 27 degrees colder in Prestonsburg and Logan. So a big drop there with that weak disturbance coming through. 65 our forecast high today. Our average high is 54. 80 was the record set back on this day in 1992. Chas?
Thanks, Brandon. Well, a jury came back with a not guilty verdict yesterday for the former Louisville, Kentucky police officer who fired shots during the 2020 drug raid that ended with the death of Breonna Taylor. Brett Hankinson was not charged with Taylor's death. He faced charges of wanton endangerment for firing shots that went into a neighboring apartment where a man, woman, and child were living. Hankinson fired 10 shots near a side door during the raid, but none hit Taylor.
I told Breonna Taylor's family in closing argument, I tried to, that it was a terrible tragedy. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. And as I said in the closing argument, it all revolves back to Kenny Walker. And I would stand by that.
Breonna Taylor was a 26-year-old black woman who worked as an emergency medical technician. She was settling down for bed when Louisville police officers with a narcotics warrant kicked in her door. They drew fire from Taylor's boyfriend, who said he thought an intruder was breaking in. 2 officers at the door returned fire, killing Taylor. Neither officer was charged in her death. One of the officers was hit in the leg by a bullet. A Warren County woman running for a Senate state representative seat was arrested Sunday and charged with public intoxication. Lynette Lopez is running as a Republican candidate in the 20th district race. The arrest citation says that police received a call Sunday evening regarding a complaint. When the officer arrived, they determined that Lopez was under the influence to the point where she was a danger to herself and others. She was arrested and charged with public intoxication. Overdose cases are increasing in eastern Kentucky. Health officials say it's because of a new fentanyl-laced drug. WYMT's Chas Jenkins has more on what this could mean for our region.
A new fentanyl-laced drug has creeped into eastern Kentucky, leaving health officials frustrated.
Seems like as soon as we feel like we're educating our communities on what's out there, something new comes up. And we try to get ahead of it as quick as we can and educate our communities.
A substance unlike others used in the area, turning purple when placed in water.
Unfortunately, we see due to poor quality controls when they're manufacturing this or whatever, that sometimes you have high doses of fentanyl and carfentanil, and it causes these overdoses.
The region's seen 6 overdoses and 1 death in Lee, Wolf, and Owsley counties.
Some people, they lose their hope whenever they're in addiction and they see no way out. And there's services out there that can help. And that's what we want them to know, that it's never too late.
Encouraging anyone who sees an overdose happening to call 911 immediately.
If you call 911 for someone who is overdosing and you have substance on you or something yourself, under the Good Samaritan law, you will not be charged if you are just using as well.
Above all, education is the most important tool.
Equip yourself with education and Narcan, because you never know when you can save a life I mean, it could be in a grocery store, parking lot, gas station. It's everywhere.
Another obstacle in the battle against opioid addiction. Chaz Jenkins, WYMT Mountain News.
Lockard says they hope to soon provide fentanyl test strips to better help combat the increasing cases. Well, Thursday was World Hearing Day, a reminder that it's never too late to get tested for hearing loss. Health officials say the biggest cause is never wearing ear protection. Common symptoms include muffling of speech, difficulty understanding in a crowd, and needing to turn up devices' volume. Public Health Director Scott Lockard says hearing loss is nothing to be ashamed of.
Get tested, find out, because you'll be surprised who among you has hearing loss. And often you can correct hearing loss with a very simple little device. Some of us have experienced hearing loss.
Lockard says he encourages everyone to get tested if there are ever any signs or potential hearing loss. One Eastern Kentucky Community and Technical College is hoping to address the nursing shortage in the Commonwealth. WYMT's Dakota Makris tells us how.
Nursing students at Hazard Community and Technical College could have their tuition covered for free.
We are doing all we can to address the critical shortage of nurses across the state.
For students who participate in the new initiative called For Free Nursing Degree at HCTC could have their entire RN degree paid for, but they have to go through a few steps. For starters, they have to complete their FAFSA and HCTC application and attend a nursing pre-admission conference.
Then they take 4 prerequisites. Those include contemporary college math, anatomy and physiology 1, psychology, and nurse aid.
Dr. Jennifer Linden says students can probably get a variety of grants and scholarships to pay for those classes. Then students can apply for the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship. Once they are admitted to the nursing program, that scholarship pays 100% of tuition.
Many people think that they already have to have an associate degree before they can apply for HCTC's RN program. That is not the case. All they need to do is complete 4 prerequisites.
Saying high school students can take the prerequisites as well.
It is the best time if you are thinking about a career in healthcare or nursing to begin that pathway.
Working to strengthen Kentucky's workforce. In Hazard, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
The deadline to apply for the RN program for the fall semester is April 15th. Well, the Kentucky House has voted to regulate the dispensing of abortion pills. The bill would require women to be examined in person by a doctor before receiving the medication. The measure won House passage Wednesday. The proposal moves on to the Senate. The bill is part of a nationwide response from abortion rights opponents to the increased use of pills rather than surgery to terminate early pregnancies. About half of abortions performed in Kentucky are the result of medication procedures. Opponents call the measure an intrusion into women's medical decisions. A Kentucky Senate panel has advanced a proposal that would keep state government from doing business with financial companies that have decided to cut their investments in fossil fuels. It would also require the Kentucky State Treasurer to publish, maintain, and update a list of financial companies engaged in energy company boycotts. That list would then be shared with state government entities making investments of more than $1 billion annually. If a financial company does not end the boycott, the bill would require the state government entity divest from those holdings. For the second year in a row, Site Improve magazine announced Kentucky's tops the South Central region for economic development projects per capita. In 2021, almost 200 projects across the Commonwealth qualified for these rankings. Eastern and Southern Kentucky contributed with projects like App Harvest, the Martin County Solar Project, and new businesses in the Somerset community.
Kentucky stacks up incredibly well on the national stage. The Commonwealth placed first in the South Central region for economic development projects per capita and third nationally.
Last year, 147 of the 264 private sector projects announced across the Commonwealth came from rural counties.
Coming up on 6:10, a bit of a chilly morning as we start the day here on this Friday. Let's take a look at some of those temperatures out there. We're in the 20s in Irvin, low 30s in most of the Big Sandy, and some mid to upper 30s in the Cumberland Valley, I-75 and Lake Cumberland corridors out that way this morning. 65 this afternoon, a calm day. Some sunshine gives way to a few clouds a little bit later on. And we look at our overall trend for the next several days. Spring-like weather, I might even call it to late spring-like weather, continues into the first parts of the weekend, but some rain chances come back into play on Sunday, and a cold front will impact us early next week. So all good things must come to an end, at least briefly. Chas?
Thanks, Brandon. And thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, the White House calls upon lawmakers to help send more assistance to people in Ukraine. That's just ahead.